What if everything you believed about female loyalty was based on a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature itself? The research I'm about to share with you doesn't just challenge popular assumptions, it completely dismantles them, revealing a biological and psychological reality that most people are too uncomfortable to acknowledge. By the end of this video, you'll understand why traditional notions of loyalty may be evolutionary artifacts that no longer serve us, and why the women in your life might be operating from a completely different playbook than you ever imagined. They say love is blind. But loyalty sees everything. You can give her your time, your trust, your soul, and still lose her to a man who gave her nothing but power. Tonight, we strip the illusion bare and uncover the darkest truth about female loyalty. Because until you understand how it works, you'll forever mistake comfort for commitment. They tell you that love builds loyalty, that if you love her right, treat her well, give her your all, she'll never betray you. But that's the fairy tale version of human nature, not the real one, the truth. A woman's loyalty is not born from her emotions, it is born from her conditions. The world may dress loyalty in the colors of romance, but underneath, it is written in the language of power, benefit, and survival. Think about it. When she says she loves you, she believes it. But her belief rests upon what you represent to her in that moment. You are her source of safety, her emotional certainty, her projection of strength. As long as those things exist, her loyalty holds. But the moment those pillars shake, so does her devotion. This isn't betrayal, it's instinct. Because no creature stays loyal to something that can no longer protect or elevate it. Every woman, whether she admits it or not, calculates her loyalty. She doesn't sit down and plan it. No, it's deeper than that. It's woven into her nature. When you walk into a room confident, composed, certain of yourself, her loyalty grows. When you hesitate, doubt, or lose direction, a quiet erosion begins. You won't see it immediately. She'll still smile. She'll still say she loves you. But something inside her begins to detach, not because she wants to, but because her subconscious tells her, he is slipping. He can no longer lead me. Men make the mistake of assuming loyalty is something you earn once, as if a single act of devotion buys eternal faithfulness. But loyalty doesn't work like that. It's a contract that renews itself every day through power, purpose, and consistency. A woman doesn't remain loyal because of what you did last year or last month. She remains loyal because of who you are right now. That's the condition. That's the invisible rule. If you are strong, she aligns with you. If you are weak, she seeks strength elsewhere. Maybe not immediately, maybe not physically, but emotionally. And once her emotions start investing elsewhere, your relationship is already collapsing from within. You'll feel it before you see it. The silence grows. The affection dulls. Her presence feels heavy, not warm. And yet, you'll still cling to the illusion that her love will hold her in place. It won't, because emotions may blind her for a moment, but conditions always wake her up. You see, loyalty is not a reward for kindness. It's a reflection of status. A woman's loyalty mirrors the value you project, not just financial, but psychological. Do you make her feel safe? Do you make her feel proud to stand beside you? Do you command respect without asking for it? If the answer is yes, her loyalty strengthens. If the answer is no, it weakens quietly and inevitably. This is why so many men are shocked when a woman they believed would never leave suddenly does. They think it's about feelings, but it's never about feelings. It's about the conditions that once made her feel alive, secure, and connected. And how those conditions changed. The moment she senses decline, her instinct tells her to preserve herself, to detach before she's dragged down with you, and she'll justify it later with emotional reasons. But the truth will always be the same. Her loyalty expired the day your dominance did. That's why love stories fade, but power stories endure. Because emotions may start a bond, but conditions sustain it. When you understand this, you stop chasing affection and start maintaining leverage. You stop asking for loyalty and start commanding it through who you become every single day. Every man believes his woman is different, that no matter what happens, she will stand beside him through every fall, every storm, every failure. It's a beautiful illusion, one that keeps men blind to the law that governs every human bond. Power sustains loyalty. The moment your power fades, loyalty begins to slip through your fingers, quietly, invisibly, until one day you realize it's gone. Power isn't always about money or status. It's the aura of control that surrounds you. The certainty in your words, the steadiness in your decisions, the silent command in your presence. When you possess it, people orbit around you effortlessly. When you lose it, even the ones who swore allegiance start to drift. And a woman, guided by nature's instinct to align with strength, is the first to sense when that power begins to waver. In the beginning, she's drawn to you because of it, not consciously, but biologically. Your power gives her security. It gives her a sense that she is protected, chosen, connected to something greater than herself. She doesn't just love you, she loves what you represent. You are her anchor in a world full of uncertainty. But when that anchor starts to rust, when she senses that your confidence is shaking, that your drive is fading, that your influence is slipping, she doesn't panic, she observes. And silently, her loyalty begins to shift from you to survival. Men often mistake sympathy for loyalty. They think because she comforts them in moments of weakness, she'll stay forever. But comfort doesn't mean commitment. She might hold you when you fall, yes, but she's also measuring whether you'll rise again. If you stay down too long, if you become a man who talks about what he used to be instead of what he's becoming, she feels something die inside her. Not hatred, not disappointment, just certainty that the man she admired is gone and the man standing before her is no longer worth following. That's when the small signs appear. Her tone changes. Her eyes no longer light up when you speak. She argues more, respects less, distances subtly. You'll try to fix it with affection, but affection doesn't resurrect respect. She's not falling out of love. She's responding to a loss of power. Her loyalty was tied to your ability to lead, to make her feel safe in your world. And when that world starts crumbling, her instincts tell her to move towards stability, even if that means away from you. You'll notice how quickly loyalty transforms when she feels your control slipping. The same woman who once defended you will start questioning you. The one who admired your vision will start doubting your choices. She's not doing it to wound you. She's adapting. Her subconscious is telling her that survival now lies elsewhere. That's how nature keeps her safe. She will never admit it, but every shift in her behavior is a test. Can you still lead me? Can you still protect me from chaos? If the answer becomes no, her loyalty fades with your power. Power to her isn't about dominance. It's about direction. When you knew where you were going, she trusted the path. When you lose that vision, she loses her faith. And that faith was the root of her loyalty all along. Because in her eyes, love without leadership is danger. Passion without purpose is instability. The moment she feels unprotected, not physically, but emotionally and psychologically, her mind begins to detach and her heart follows. The tragedy is that most men don't lose their women because of other men. They lose them because they lost themselves. Their drive, their edge, their authority. A woman's loyalty doesn't evaporate overnight. It dissolves slowly as your sense of power fades. She still sees your face, but the figure she once admired no longer lives behind it. And when that realization sets in, she doesn't need to be told to leave. Her nature will do it for her. In the quiet theater of human behavior, emotion plays loudly, but nature writes the script. And in that script, the heroes are not the most loving or loyal. They're the most pragmatic. Every choice, every attachment, every loyalty a woman forms is ultimately guided by one law: survival. It may look like romance, it may sound like devotion, but beneath it all is calculation, silent, instinctive, and ancient. Nature rewards those who adapt, not those who feel deeply. When a woman chooses a man, it may look like an act of love, but at its core, it's a judgment. She's measuring your ability to protect, to provide, to lead, to create a world that keeps her safe and significant. You might think she fell for your charm or your words, but what really drew her in was what her instincts whispered. This man can ensure my survival. It's not always about money or status. Sometimes it's emotional strength, sometimes mental dominance, sometimes just the quiet confidence that nothing can shake you. That, to her, is security. And security is the highest currency in nature's economy. The sentimental man sees loyalty as a gift of the heart. He believes that if he gives enough love, enough care, enough attention, it will be returned forever. But nature doesn't reward sentiment, it rewards strategy. The man who gives too freely becomes predictable. The man who puts emotion above control becomes vulnerable. And once he becomes vulnerable, nature signals that he is no longer fit to lead. She won't say it out loud. She'll just start to feel it. That silent feeling is the beginning of emotional withdrawal. Not because she stopped loving him, but because her instincts are pulling her toward what's stronger, safer, smarter. You see, loyalty is not moral, it's practical. It's not about right or wrong, it's about what works. A woman's loyalty aligns with the direction of her survival. If she senses that staying with you brings decline, she'll rationalize her departure as falling out of love. But that's not the truth. The truth is that her instincts realize the equation no longer balanced in her favor, and when nature decides, emotion follows. It always does. The same instinct that made her nurture you will make her abandon you if the conditions demand it. That's not cruelty. That's evolution. In the wild, the lioness doesn't follow the weakest lion because of sentimental attachment. She follows the one who can win, feed, and protect. Civilization has changed our clothes, our words, our cities, but not our instincts. The same code still runs beneath our polished surfaces. Men who understand this law stop expecting eternal loyalty from emotion. They realize that love is a byproduct of conditions, not a replacement for them. If you are strong, focused, and ascending, nature favors you. If you become passive, lost, or sentimental, nature quietly removes her support. Because emotion without pragmatism is suicide in nature's eyes. A woman's biology doesn't care about promises, it cares about preservation. And so, when she begins to shift away, when her tone changes, when her attention drifts, when her warmth fades, it's not that she suddenly turned cold, it's that her internal compass recalibrated toward survival. She might not even understand it herself. She'll call it confusion, emotional distance, needing space. But behind those words is an ancient program, running exactly as it was designed: adapt or perish. Nature has no sympathy for those who cannot maintain strength. That's why she rewards the pragmatic woman, the one who reads the signs, who feels when the man she's tied to is slipping. Because her future, her security, her peace depend on that awareness. It isn't personal. It isn't emotional. It's survival disguised as reason, and reason disguised as love. Most men believe loyalty is a form of repayment. They think, I treated her well. I gave her everything. I was there when no one else was. She owes me loyalty. But this belief is the seed of their downfall. Loyalty doesn't operate on gratitude. It operates on perception. A woman does not stay because she remembers your kindness. She stays because she still feels your value. The day she stops feeling it, gratitude disappears like smoke in the wind. Gratitude is logical. Loyalty is emotional. You can thank someone for saving your life and still walk away from them the next day if they no longer serve your purpose. That's human nature, and women are no exception. Men often mistake comfort for connection, effort for respect, and history for security. But none of these guarantee loyalty. You can build her a castle, and she will still walk out of its gates if she no longer sees you as its king. Because loyalty to her is tied not to your deeds, but to your dominance. She might thank you for everything you've done, the sacrifices, the long nights, the patience, but gratitude is temporary. It fades once the emotional charge fades. And emotions, by nature, are fickle. What remains constant is how she perceives you in the present. If she sees strength, purpose, and leadership, she'll align herself with you. But if she starts seeing weakness, complacency, or dependence, her mind begins to rewrite the story. Suddenly, everything you did becomes something you were supposed to do. She no longer sees those gestures as acts of love. They become expected behaviors from a man who's trying too hard to keep her. That's why so many men end up confused. They stand there wondering, how could she leave after everything I've done? Because they thought loyalty was a moral debt. It isn't. It's an emotional investment that continues only while it feels profitable. The woman who once cried on your shoulder, will later coldly justify leaving you by saying, "I just don't feel the same anymore." What she means is simple. Your value dropped. You gave more than you commanded. You started negotiating with emotions instead of maintaining power, and nature punishes imbalance. A woman doesn't stay out of gratitude because gratitude doesn't stimulate her instincts. Power does, presence does, confidence does. The moment she feels you need her approval, her respect begins to erode. Gratitude cannot rebuild it. You can apologize, explain, reminisce. It doesn't matter. Her instincts are no longer aligned with you. And once instincts shift, logic follows, and emotion follows logic. This is why history doesn't protect you. You can share years of laughter, pain, and memories, but if in the present moment you stop being the man she admires, the past loses its weight. The same memories that once bonded her to you will start to suffocate her. She'll reinterpret them, reshape them, even resent them, because they remind her of what you were, not what you are. And women live emotionally in the present, not the past. Gratitude, to a man, feels sacred. To a woman, it feels situational. She might genuinely mean it when she says, "Thank you," when she tells you she'll never forget what you did. But human loyalty doesn't run on memory. It runs on relevance. The moment you stop being relevant to her growth, her admiration, her peace, she stops feeling loyal, even if she still feels thankful. Gratitude is respect for the past. Loyalty is submission to the present. The two are not the same. Men lose power the moment they confuse the two. They keep trying to remind her of everything they did, hoping it will bring her back. But the truth is, gratitude cannot resurrect attraction. You can't remind her into loyalty. You can only command it through strength, independence, and purpose. She doesn't want to follow the man who gave her everything. She wants to follow the man who gives her direction. And when you fail to lead her, all your past sacrifices turn into background noise, appreciated, but irrelevant. The greatest mistake men make is believing loyalty can be asked for. That if they plead enough, explain enough, love enough, she will somehow remember her promises and stay. But loyalty does not answer to words. It responds only to power. You cannot ask for it, because the moment you do, you reveal weakness. And weakness kills desire faster than betrayal ever could. True loyalty must be commanded, drawn out by respect, fear of loss, and admiration of your control. Anything less is dependency dressed as devotion. When a man begins to ask, "Why are you distant? Why don't you love me like before?" he has already lost the frame. He has shifted from being the authority in her life to being a beggar of emotions. The irony is, the more he tries to convince her to stay, the more her mind confirms that leaving is the right decision. Because power does not chase, it attracts. And attraction, in its truest form, is submission to strength. She follows you not because you told her to, but because something in your presence commands her loyalty without a word. A woman's loyalty is an emotional reaction to your dominance. Not dominance in aggression, but in control. The quiet, unshakable energy of a man who doesn't need validation. She feels secure in your direction, and that security breeds attachment. But when she senses you seeking her reassurance, her instincts reverse. Her subconscious whispers, "If he needs my loyalty, maybe he no longer deserves it." That's how nature works. It aligns itself with strength and withdraws from weakness. Men often confuse kindness with influence. They think being understanding, soft, and endlessly patient will make her love them more. But when you try to buy loyalty with softness, you teach her to see you as safe, but not superior. She may appreciate you, but she won't follow you. She may stay out of comfort, but comfort is not loyalty. It's convenience. Real loyalty requires something more primal, the tension between respect and fear of loss. When she feels both, her devotion deepens. When she feels neither, her interest dies. The Machiavellian truth is simple. Loyalty grows in the shadow of power. The more control you have over your emotions, your path, your energy, the more she mirrors that stability. She doesn't stay because you need her. She stays because she senses you don't. That paradox is what binds her. The man who stands firm, who can walk away at any moment and still remain whole, becomes magnetic. His silence carries more weight than another man's promises. His absence creates more longing than another's affection. He doesn't demand loyalty. he becomes the kind of man it naturally orbits. Asking for loyalty is like asking for respect. Once you have to ask, it's already gone. A woman gives it freely when she feels it's deserved, not when it's requested. You cannot negotiate her loyalty through guilt or memory. You can only sustain it through power, the power of direction, self-control, and emotional independence. When you hold the frame, she feels safe inside it. When you lose it, she feels exposed and begins to retreat. Most men never understand this law because they're addicted to reassurance. They need constant proof that they're loved, constant reminders that they matter. But the man who commands loyalty doesn't seek proof. He assumes it. He knows his worth so deeply that losing her doesn't destroy him, it defines him. That aura terrifies and attracts her all at once. Because deep down, every woman wants to follow a man who doesn't need to be followed. A man whose power demands loyalty without asking for it. In that balance lies the secret of lasting devotion. Not to chase her faithfulness, but to make her realize that your absence would cost her more than your presence ever did. That realization cannot be spoken. It can only be felt. And the moment she feels it, her loyalty becomes inevitable, not requested. Every man searches for loyalty as if it were proof of love, but loyalty was never born from love. It was born from power. The moment you understand this, you stop chasing emotion and start mastering control. A woman's loyalty is not a gift, it's a mirror. It reflects the strength, vision, and certainty you carry within yourself. When you stand firm, she follows. When you falter, she withdraws. That is not betrayal, that is nature. You cannot hold loyalty with words, promises, or memories. You can only sustain it through presence, the kind of power that doesn't shout but commands. Every smile she gives, every sacrifice she makes, every act of devotion she performs is not for who you were, but for who you are right now. The day you lose your edge, her instinct begins to retreat, not because she stopped loving you, but because nature demands she survive. Machiavelli would say that affection is fleeting, but fear and respect endure. Translate that into the modern bond. Power and purpose are the roots of all lasting loyalty. The man who knows his path never begs for love, because love gravitates toward direction. And the man who can walk away without breaking is the one every woman fears losing. So understand this, female loyalty is not fragile. It is precise. It bends to dominance, not dependence. It answers to leadership, not longing. If you want to keep her loyalty, don't ask for it. Earn it through evolution. Be the man she cannot imagine surviving without. Not because she needs you, but because your presence defines the order in her world. And in that order, love becomes devotion, and loyalty becomes unshakable.